record button in case recording. So I'll tell you guys about today's shoot. Oh, I look here, not here. Great. So I'll tell you guys about today's shoot. Today's shoot is, I don't know if I'm holding this very well. By the way, I'm going to be shooting with the EOS R5 for the first time. And if you can hear any noise, sorry about that. This is just a straight up vlog-like thing, even though I don't vlog, so I don't know how this is going to go. So today's shoot, we are going to be doing something that has to do with skincare. I'm trying to see how I can put products into my photo shoot. I'm trying to see how I can infuse products into my photo shoot. So the photo shoot has more of a meaning, and it's not just a beauty shoot. It's something that is tailored towards something. So if I'm going to do something that has to do with makeup or something that has to do with skincare, today's more of like a skincare shoot. So I got Edna because she has amazing skin, and I saw her picture that I showed of her a while ago and I really liked it, so I told her to come through. You guys have already seen her. She's acting like the camera is not here, which is fine. She's forming, it's cool, it's alright. I'm going to show you guys the light setup that I'll be using today. I don't know if I said it, but I'm shooting the R5. Today is the first time that I'm shooting with the EOS R5. That's the Canon EOS R5, and I've had this camera for how long now? 2 months. I've had this camera for 2 months and I have not shot anything with it, so today is the first time I'm shooting with it. I haven't shot in a while, so I'm really excited that I'm shooting today, and I hope the pictures are good. Just in case the pictures are not good, I am sorry, you won't see them, but I hope the pictures are good. I am really looking forward to shooting again and shooting consistently, so maybe I'll get her and her sister back next week for another shoot. Do you think I'm a good photographer? Do you think I'm the best photographer? Oh, that's what you tell somebody else too. So guys, like I said, today's photo shoot was all about skincare, and I was going for this really soft look, and there are two ways you can make that happen. It's either you are using a very large modifier, or you put your light close to your subject. And since I wasn't using a large modifier, I decided to put my light pretty close to my subject. My main light was the Godox AD600B, and it's an amazing light. If you have it, I don't think you need to go for the Pro, especially if you're just taking portraits, but typically I use the Pro, but whenever I can't use that, I use the AD600B, and the light is beautiful. And I was shooting at 1/4 when I started, but I brought it down to 1/8 after a while. I can't remember what I used throughout the shoot, but if you're going to try and replicate this shoot, just use either one of those. Now for my camera settings, my camera settings all through were f7.1, ISO 100, and 1/200 of a second. That's what I use for this particular photo shoot. The camera I used was the Canon EOS R5, like I said at the beginning of the video, and I absolutely love this camera. I also use my favorite beauty lens, which is the Canon 100mm f2.8L macro lens. Love that. Now the autofocus is not great with the Canon R5 because the autofocus on that lens is not really good, but I mean it's a welcome upgrade from when I was using it with my Sony camera and I had to manually focus because the autofocus on the lens is not really great. Hey guys, so I want to go over the light setup for this particular photo shoot. Now the first thing I want you to notice is how the light is looking down at my subject. So this typically is the butterfly or the loop setup. I use both of them when I'm doing my beauty photo shoots, but I think for this particular photo shoot I would say I went more for the loop than the butterfly setup, and that's why you can see the light from this angle because it was kind of pointing outwards. So I'll probably say just put this direction here, even though that just looks terrible.
but it was probably pointing outwards a little bit, and I tend to like the loop setup a little bit better than the butterfly setup when I shoot, except I absolutely have to use that to get like a particular look that I'm going for. But anyone you guys want to use is totally fine. Now another thing I want you guys to see here is how the light is pointing directly at my subject, and that's typically what your key light does. You know, you just point it off from an angle, probably like I would say 45-degree angle down at your subject. Then I have my reflector here, which is just bouncing light back into my subject from down here. Now my reflector is pretty close to my subject to I'll probably say almost the same distance, maybe just a little bit closer than the light is, and that's typically the light setup that I use for my beauty shoots. I'm a one light guy, except for the next look I will use the second light, and you know, you can just build up from there, but this is typically the setup that I use. Now another thing I want you to look at, or another thing I want you to notice, let me just change the color of my brush real quick. Another thing I want you guys to notice is the angle at which I'm shooting. Now typically a lot of people shoot directly into the subject's eyes, or sometimes they shoot from the top, which is typically not the best angle to shoot from. So you know, just being slightly under your subject's eyes and nose and shooting up at your subject is typically the best angle to shoot from. So I would say sorry, my hands are not straight at all when I'm doing this, so something like this. Now another thing again that I want you guys to notice is the distance between my subject and the background. So that was about 3 or 4 feet. I would say this was about 4 feet away from the background, and my for my light this was about 3 feet away from my subject, and I'll say this was about 2 feet away from my subject. So yeah, now the reason was because I was trying to get a grayish background. That's why my subject was this far from the background, and I was just going to take that into post and change the color, because since I don't have any gels pointing at the background, the light the background just looked really cool. And I'll show you guys in post now. I'm going to capture one and show you guys. So I just wanted the background to be warm in post, and the best way to do that was just get a gray background and, you know, change the color to whatever I want to change it to. So yeah, that is the first light setup that I use. Now we are going to go into my second light setup. Now the only difference here was that I added a second light, which was an AD200 Pro, and what it was doing was just firing directly into my background. Now the thing this did, I think this was set to 1/2, and this was, my main light was 1/8, something around that number. Now the reason why this is brighter is because this light has to travel and hit the background, then come back and illuminate your subject. So I wanted to create the rim around my subject and just make her stand out from the background. I wanted the background to be pure white. At the same time, I wanted my subject to stand out. Now when you're using a light like this, try and pay close attention to it. The reason is because if it's blown out, then the light spills and your subject does not look it removes the contrast from your image. So always pay attention to that. Now another way you can actually stop that from happening is, if you look right here, I'm using the hood on my camera, so that helps out very well. So yeah, that's the second light setup. It was not different from not too different from the first light setup. All I did was just introduce a second light, and my camera settings were also the same exact thing. I didn't change anything. So those are the light setup that I used for this beauty skincare photo shoot. So let's get into capture one, and I'll show you guys the straight out camera and the edited images. So now we're in capture one, and you guys can see all the edited images. But before we get into this, I want to take a minute to tell you guys to definitely check out my digital store. I have some amazing retouching actions for you there. I have some amazing lots that you guys can either download for free, or, you know, get the paid one. I have free frequency separation actions. I have my skin tone lots. I have my retouching essentials pack, which has 14 amazing actions to help you retouch better and faster. I use them all the time. All the images you guys can see on the screen right now were retouched using my retouching essentials pack and color graded using my skin tone lot. So definitely check it out. So now I am going to show you guys all the images. Just come up here and I'm just going to scroll up and show you guys the images from the first look. So these right here are the images for the first look. This is what I was going for, but I did not pick a lot of this. Obviously you can't use all the images from your look, so I selected a few and I really loved this one, so I picked this one. So this right here is the image that I picked. So I'm just going to show you guys the straight out of camera so you guys will see what that looks like. This is a straight out of camera, and if I come back here, you guys can see straight out of camera, something like this. Then you guys can see the one with the capture one edits, and this right here is the final image. Yeah, I did a few things because the camera was really close to her face. I felt like it made her face bigger, so I reduced the width of her face. And what I was explaining to you guys before was how I just shot with I changed my white to a gray backdrop so that I could change the color in post, because this was the idea I had in mind. So that is the first look. Funny enough, I just retouched one image from the first light setup, and I'll retouch a couple more from that. Now for the second one, I did a few more. So this right here is not straight out of camera. Obviously this is edited in capture one. I can just reset the adjustment so you guys can see. So that's straight out of camera, and this is my capture one edit, and this is the retouched image. And I had a couple other ones. So this was like the skincare centric look with the towel on her head, and this one too right here looked really good. I loved it. If you guys can see what I was talking about with the second light setup, the light at the background, apart from blowing out the background, it kind of spills onto your subject and it creates a nice rim. And this is a look that I absolutely love, and I use this look all the time. Then I also introduced products into the shoot so that the shoot has direction, and maybe if companies see this, then they are more interested in working with you because they can see how you are infusing products into your beauty photo shoots. Then I have this photo shoot was really close up. Now I noticed that she had a lot of texture on her face, which is something that, you know, you should actually look out for when you are doing beauty shoots. Now for these shots that are not really close up, it looks really nice. I love how it looks. Took out some of the texture from some places like her nose, but ultimately the image looks good. But if you're going to get really close up with someone that has a lot of texture, then you would have to do a lot more work. So right now I'm just going to put all the retouched images on the screen again so you guys can see them, and you know, you can try this out too. Just try this out at home and let me know. Now I tried the final look, which is this image right here. I'm just going to put it down here on the screen with harder light, but that's going to be another video and another tutorial later. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Definitely check out my digital store, cop something from me, support me, and also help yourself retouch better and faster. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have an amazing day. Peace out, guys.